Everyone. Of course, back here with John. We're going to be kicking things off, going into recent research that was done, talk about some licensing on one part, potentially what needs to happen at Petvivo to get to certain goals that the research outlined. But first, John, how are you? Any exciting July 4th crazy plans?
I'm doing good. The July 4th, hopefully it's going to just be relaxing, do a little boating and a little barbecuing.
Good. Are you also the barbecuer?
Yes, I am.
Master of many trades.
Yep. I'm just used to taking charge.
Oh, awesome. Well, obviously you can let us know what happens next week after, but I guess let's hop into it. Do you want to go into, kind of what Goldman's small cap research said? Maybe some of the highlights if you want to just go over it, and then we'll hop into a few questions.
Yeah, so the analyst came out with just an update of some of the notes and events that we publicly announced that was happening. One of the comments he made in there is that he believes that we are really positioned to become the standard of care for the treatment of osteoarthritis. And we believe that that's a possibility. It's a $3.2 billion market for canines and equine in the US and EU. We believe over time that we will be able to capture certain market share of that pie, and with that, it's easy to be able to see the valuation proposition for the Petvivo stock and the company. Also, we're looking at, launching the Kush product here in the second half of the year. We got pre-production runs coming probably at the end of this month or early next month that will allow us to position eventually having the capacity of hitting 500,000 units a year. At 500,000 units a year, we anticipate revenues around 125 million, and that'll take a few years to get to that point, but it's and to scale, just in case the product really catches on fire, it's not a difficult scale. It would probably cost us to build out the production lab to get to another 500,000. Cost of capital expenditures would probably be in the area of 150,000 or a little more, and about 120 days. So if you think about, the potential revenue, top line revenue growth, if it's there, we can roll out and scale very, very easily.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Obviously a pretty high level, and we'll make sure that we have a link below this video for people that want to give it their own read. Some things that stood out to me. So the first thing, you have the analyst says, could generate 10 million in first full year of operating. Do you want to chat a little bit about what would need to happen for you guys to get there? How many syringes are you guys selling to make $10 million? Just curious.
Well, I don't want to give away, cost to vets and so on, but the syringe count to get to 10 million, it's going to be 50,000 or a little less, probably 40,000 units a year.
Okay, so 40,000 units is what needs to be sold. So what needs to get you guys to that level of where, hey, you're helping 40,000, dogs or horses at that point? What's the other part of the business? How do you get it?
What are the drivers that'll get us there? It's basically, having the university study completed within a reasonable time, or launched and completed. And that's for marketing purposes. And once that's completed, we will be able to bring on some of the major distributors, which will really give us a hockey stick approach in revenues that we anticipate. And bringing in several in-house salespeople initially to start the revenue process. We talked about the three-pronged approach before, where we would use our in-house staff to get to the smaller individual vet clinics to make them aware of the product and get them to take on the product and using social media, and then following with the major distributors at the major trade shows once we have the university study that provides the marketing data that their sales reps can use to sell to the veterinary channel. And then the third piece of the puzzle was social media to drive the consumers to talk to their vets about Kush and the benefits of using Kush.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've covered that before, and obviously makes a lot of sense. I think that style. You mentioned the hockey stick approach, hiring some internal people. Do you want to talk anything about, maybe estimated timelines? Obviously, I'm assuming you guys haven't hired all those people yet. What are you trying to get that to?
I think at the couple of interviews ago, I said about 90 days ago, we're still on that path.
Cool. Well, awesome. Sounds good. I guess, is there anything else you want to cover when it comes to what needs to happen to get you guys to that $10 million or that 40,000 sale count of syringes?
Well, it's, I think if we do what we had talked about here, and a lot of it is, we're playing with an unknown variable, how fast adoption vets are going to be when they're dealing with the disruptive technology or disruptive product. But I do believe since, improving the quality of life of dogs and horses, this will be a consumer-driven as well as a vet-driven product. So with both of those push-pull strategy, I think the adoption will be much quicker.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Makes sense. The final kind of part of at least the news that was extremely interesting to me, and something that people overlook when they look at Petvivo, they just see an arthritis product. I think what was pretty cool is talking about the licensing of the technology you guys have. You already have a CBD company that's, kind of, I guess, a partner with Petvivo using the technology. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, and then we can talk about how you guys plan to expand that part of your business?
We got a very deep product pipeline, and that was, fortunately, majority of that pipeline was funded by the Department of Defense and National Institute of Health on the human side. We want to keep the company focused on developing the pet products and focusing and launching. We will look at licensing partnerships, potential partnerships, and that will fall in place because of what's happening on the animal side. A lot of these bigger companies won't step in until you hit certain thresholds of numbers. Like we had one pharmaceutical company visit us and says, well, John, our approach is anytime we license a product, we need to believe that the product has $1 billion in sales. And you don't have the capacity to be able to make $1 billion in sales. When you get close to that point, we'll be happy to really re-explore this, potential product. And we're not saying that was for osteoarthritis or Kush, but it was, other potential capacities. But that's all conversation until something actually gets done.
Yeah. Well, at least there's interest. Interest is always the beginning. Do you want to talk about, maybe, this part of the business, the licensing part? What's that opportunity? Is it even potentially bigger than the arthritis product itself? Maybe talk about the expectations. You think that part of the business is going to grow in the near term? How would it grow? Are you guys doing anything to help it grow? I know you said your focus is on the pet product, but I'm sure this is still, on the back burner a little bit.
Yeah, we're always open to opportunities because of the uniqueness of the product, and the more people hear about the product, there's always potential interest of partnering and using our technology. There is a lot of what I call disruptive technology capabilities within the Kush particles. So definitely we'll keep our eyes open, and if the proper opportunity presents itself, just like the CBD company, we weren't really looking at doing that. They came to us, made a good presentation, gave us a likelihood of the product hitting the retail consumer market from the basis of being over the counter. It's an over the counter CBD type product or vitamin nutritional supplement product that they wanted to use our delivery technology. So that delivery technology can be used in many areas, pharmaceuticals, nutritional supplements, on both animals and human side.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure we're gonna get a bunch of questions about some of the other products and licensing, all this kind of stuff. So maybe we leave that for another video in the future. I think it's an extremely interesting, definitely side part of Petvivo that we haven't really chatted about too much. But I'm sure if people looked into it a little bit, there's huge opportunity in those as well. It's not just simply selling arthritis injections to dogs and horses. You guys have a much bigger picture, which is great. So we'll leave that for another video, I think, unless you want to cover anything quickly.
No, we are definitely not a one-trick pony when you really look at the portfolio pipeline. It's if I say so, it's quite impressive when we look at the pipeline and the patent portfolio that we have. You can look at many companies out there that doesn't come close to the pipeline or patent portfolio that we have.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We'll leave that for another video, and I'm sure if people are watching, they can leave some comments, leave some questions, and we'll make sure we dive into it